Hi First Certificates. Alright, today we're continuing with Unit 8 and we're going to start on page 66. Okay, so if you look at exercise 1, you'll see there's some vocabulary all related to science. Noah, you should be good at this. So, first of all, you need to test your knowledge of science by completing the gaps with this vocabulary. Alright, this is the part where you need to pause, and then when you've finished, press play and I'll go through the answers. Okay, so pause now. Right, how did you do? Let's look then. So number 1, biology is the study of living things. Number 2, chemistry is the study of substances and how they react or combine with each other. Number 3, physics is the study of matter and energy and their effect on one another. Number 4, oil is a liquid, steam is a gas, and copper is a solid. Number 5, people breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Cars give off carbon monoxide. Number 6, scientists working in laboratories often use glass test tubes to carry out experiments. Number 7, an atom is the smallest unit that an element can be divided into, and a cell is the smallest unit of a plant or animal. Number 8, the discovery of electricity, which led to the invention of the light bulb, was a huge breakthrough in scientific knowledge. Did you get them all correct? Well done. Okay, so now we're going to move on to part 2 of the listening, alright, which is when you have to complete the information. So first, look at the quick steps. Number 1, when the answer is a number, take care with other numbers you may hear that don't answer the question. Remember, they are distractors. They're not the correct answer, they're just to distract you. Second, after listening, make sure the completed sentences make sense. No spelling mistakes and no grammar mistakes. Okay? So before we do the listening, look at exercise 4. Alright? It's easier to recognise numbers that you hear if you are familiar with the pronunciation. How are these numbers pronounced? Any ideas? Okay, listen and repeat. 31st, 1989, 463, 3.55, 12th, 60%, 1/3, 12,300, 35 degrees, 22nd, 2015, or 2015, 3/4. Good. So now have a look at the exam task. Okay? Which of the numbers 1 to 10 focus on numbers? And what kind of number is it in each case? Alright? So this is the time to pause the video, look at the gaps, the 10 spaces, and decide which numbers could go in which spaces. Okay, when you finish, press play and we'll go through. Alright? Pause. Right, let's have a look. So, in number 1, you're looking for a number. And what type of number? Yes, it's the age of somebody. Aged and something. Number 2 is also a number and we're looking for a year. Number 3 is not a number. What type of word are we looking for in number 3? Yeah, probably a noun, something that you produce. Number 4, is it a number? No. What type of word are we looking for in number 4? Yeah, a noun or an activity, something that people are interested in. Number 5 is a number. Yes, and we're talking about an amount of people. All right. Number 6 again is a number, and it's a total amount. Number 7 is not a number. Here we're probably looking for a noun, somewhere that you can extract fuel from. Number 8, again, not a number. Here, a fairly detailed something, but not a number. Number 9, again, is no number, but number 10 is a number, and we're looking for a date. All right? So, look at the exam tip before we do the listening. Use figures in your answers, for example, 40 instead of writing 40. Okay? You don't have to write out the numbers, it just wastes time. The second one then, for each question, the speaker will say something that indicates the answer is coming soon. So listen out for those expressions that are going to introduce the answer. Okay? So now the exam task. Now unfortunately, because I'm working from home, I don't have the CDs, so I'm afraid you're going to have to listen to me. All right? So, are you ready? You will hear a journalist reporting on a prize for young scientists and engineers. For questions 1 to 10, complete the sentences. Ryan. The National Science and Engineering Competition is aimed at young scientists and engineers who have developed new ideas completely of their own. They may be school projects or something they've done as a hobby. And the winners are awarded prizes and named Young Scientist and Young Engineer of the Year. Anyone aged 18 or under can take part, although the science category was won by a 17-year-old last year, as was the engineering one. The competition covers every area of science, technology, engineering and mathematics, and is internationally broadly based so as to encourage as many young people as possible to enter. It's been going for a few years now. In fact, it's been an annual event since 2009, although it became much bigger in 2010 once more people became aware of it. And then the media started to take an interest in the Big Bang Fair, where the winners are announced. From that year on, there have been lectures by top speakers and shows put on by national television channels. The Big Bang Fair is a 3-day fair for school students interested in science and engineering, with lots of things to do, like interactive science quizzes, games and activities. For instance, one boy had set up a non-moving bicycle, like those you find in a gym, and was pedalling away energetically. But this was about electricity rather than exercise, with a challenge to anyone present to generate more than he could, as measured by the attached equipment. Nobody managed to, at least while I was around. So they have a good time there, with plenty of fun things to do. But its real purpose is more serious, to promote careers in those subjects, especially when there is a national skills gap in particular areas. This is done in a wide range of ways, and a study into how this can be extended is currently being carried out by the Centre for Science Education. The fair is becoming increasingly popular. The total number of people at the most recent one was over 22,500, of whom at least 2/3, according to the figures I have, would have been of secondary school age, with teachers and parents making up rather less than a quarter between them. Over 110 public and private organisations from across the country were represented, and it was clear that everyone there had a genuine desire to raise awareness of young people's achievements in science and technology. Naturally, the number of young people actually involved in the competition was smaller. They can enter either as individuals or as part of a team, so that whereas in total 193 projects were presented, there were actually 312 competitors working in the fields of science, technology, mathematics and engineering. and there were some great projects. In one I particularly liked, the team built quite complicated structures in the shape of road bridges, entirely in chocolate. Most were surprisingly strong, though of course any that collapsed could simply be eaten. In another, a team managed to convert coffee into a gas that became the source of energy for a car, successfully covering the 300 kilometres to the fair. Finding alternatives to petrol as a fuel was a common theme, not surprisingly, with many entries aimed at reducing the amount of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere. The final is held at the Big Bang Fair, where the number of entries is reduced to a shortlist of 6. Neither individuals nor teams need to make a formal presentation to a big audience, but they are expected to be able to give a clear explanation, going into some detail about their project so that it can be properly assessed by the 5 judges. They may well be asked things about it too, partly to see how well they respond to questions. Although the quality of the work they do is the main thing. Their communication skills are also taken into account, as the winners may have the chance to speak in public, including on TV, on behalf of young scientists and engineers. And that, not surprisingly, appeals to quite a lot of teenagers. Everyone's keen to know who's won this year, but it's quite a long process, and although all entries had to be in by October the 31st, we'll have to wait until nearly the spring to find out. It'll actually be on the first day of the next Big Bang Fair, which runs from March the 11th to the 13th. I'm sure that will be followed with a lot of interest. Okay, now obviously it's a Cambridge exam, so you get to listen again. Don't make me read it again. So if you just go back in the video and repeat it, okay, then we'll go through the answers. Alright? So, if this is your second time that you've listened, perfect. Let's have a look at the answers. Okay, so for number 1, we have 17. Number 2, 2009. Number 3, electricity. Number 4, careers. Number 5, 2/3, which you can write 2/3. Number 6, 312. Number 7, coffee. Number 8, explanation. Number 9, communication skills. Number 10, March the 11th. Okay, now remember, with number 10, March the 11th, could be written March 11, 11, March. It doesn't matter, as long as you have the correct answer. Alright, how did you do? Remember, you can always look at the back of the book at the audio script to help you. Okay, so let's move on then to page 67, page 67, looking at a bit of grammar. And you'll see in exercise 1, an extract from the listening. Alright, this is done in a wide range of ways, and a study into how this can be extended is currently being carried out by the Centre for Science Education. Now in this extract, can you underline the passive form? Okay, pause and underline the passive form, then come back to me. Okay, you should have found 2 examples. The first one, this is done, and also is currently being carried out. Did you get them both? Excellent, well done. So, how do we form the passive? Well, we make the passive by using a form of the verb to be and a past participle. Remember, it's the verb to be that we change depending on the tense. It can be the past, the present, the future, okay, but the verb to be changes. The past participle is always the same. So look at exercise 2. Here we have 5 different sentences, okay? We need to first rewrite the sentences in the passive and then match them with their uses A to E. All right. Let's do number 1 together. In the active, someone has broken the equipment. Here, the subject is someone, the verb has broken, and the object, the equipment. Now in the passive, the object becomes the subject, the equipment. The verb needs to be changed to the passive. Has broken is present perfect, so the verb to be in present perfect. The equipment has been, and the past participle, broken. The equipment has been broken by someone. Okay, when we introduce the agent, the person who does the action, we use by. It's not always necessary to use by. Someone is not a specific person. We don't really need to mention it. Okay, so number 1, the equipment has been broken by someone, matches with be when we don't know who did something. Who did it? Someone? Who? We have no idea. Okay? So now have a look at 2, 3, 4 and 5. Alright? Rewrite them in the passive and then match them with their uses A to E. Alright? Pause the video and come back when you're finished. Okay, let's have a look. So, number 2, firstly you heat up the liquid. The passive, the liquid is heated up first. Or, firstly, the liquid is heated up. It doesn't matter which way. Alright? This one goes with A, describing a process. Number 3, you must wear safety glasses in the laboratory. Safety glasses must be worn in the laboratory. Number 4, a very young student won this year's science competition. This year's science competition was won by a very young student. And this one matches with E. Oh, sorry, with number 3 matches with D, polite rules and requests. Sorry. And finally, number 5. Be careful with number 5. People say that Dr. Lou is a brilliant scientist. Okay. Here we could say, Dr. Lou is said to be a brilliant scientist. Or it is said that Dr. Lou is a brilliant scientist. When we talk about the general opinion of people, see what people in general believe or expect, etc., we have 2 different forms. The first, we use the subject, Dr. Lou is said, and we use an infinitive, to be, or a perfect infinitive to refer to the past. Look at the difference. Dr. Lou is said to be a brilliant scientist. Dr. Lou is said to have been a brilliant scientist. To be, to refer to the present. Have been to refer to the past. The second structure we can use is, it is said that, plus a clause. Remember, a clause is just the sentence with a subject and verb. Instead of said, we can also use thought, believed, etc. It is thought that Dr. Lou is a brilliant scientist. It is believed that Dr. Lou is a brilliant scientist. So be careful, when it's a general opinion for more than one person, okay, we have the 2 different structures we can use. So, what about exercise 3 then? Okay, which of these sentences written by exam candidates contain mistakes? Alright, I'll give you a clue. The mistakes are about the passive. Okay? So, again, pause the video, look at exercise 3, and then come back for the answers. Alright? So, number 1 then, the correct answer is electric light was invented in the 19th century, I think. Number 2, the final decision is being made right now. Number 3, you will be asked some questions by the panel of judges. Number 4, The museum was closed because it was being painted. Number 5. It is thought that cycling improves your health. It's correct. Number 6. When I was a student at school, I used to be taught science every day. Number 7. Democracy had been born in my country many years before then. And number 8. Their hearing is said to have worsened considerably is correct. All right? So now it's over to you. All right? Your homework is to have a look at exercise 4 and exercise 6. Okay? In exercise 4, there is a text all about the invention of the microwave. Okay? There are, how many? 10 underlined phrases in the text which you need to rewrite into the passive. Only use by if it's necessary. In exercise 6, can you rewrite the second sentence so it has the same meaning as the first? Okay? When you've finished, email the answers to me and I'll correct them. All right? That's it for this week. See you next week. Bye!